Hello guys, welcome to the Harvard Lab today. My name is Babatunde Arolo, and today we're going to be talking about solving a linear inequality with multiple occurrences of the variable. Okay, so an inequality basically means comparison between two numbers or two or more numbers, variables or equations. Okay, so we're going to be comparing those stuff together. Okay, and when we're comparing, we need some kind of function. Okay, and this is what I provided here. These are some of the stuff we use when comparing particular numbers or equations or variables. Okay, so let's look at this. This is the greater than sign. Okay, because it's kind of telling us, okay, after comparison of two numbers, we know that one number is going to be greater than the other number, or this is the less than sign. It's going to be less than, we don't know. This is the equals to sign. I'm sure everybody's familiar with this. This is mostly used everywhere. Basically telling us something is equals to something else. Okay, this is the greater than or equals to. This is the sign. This is the less than or equals to sign. Okay, so these signs are very important when working with inequalities. Okay, and let's look at this question. This question asks us to solve the inequality for W. Okay, and one thing I wanna address when working with all this stuff is just treat this equation like you treat a normal equation. Okay, so you treat this one like you treat any other equation given to you, but the only difference is whenever you have to divide both sides by a negative number, signs flip. Okay, so let's say we have minus 7w greater than or equals to 49, right? So we have to divide both sides by minus 7 to get w, right? So when we divide both sides by minus 7 and minus 7, this cancelled out, but the sign here will have to change. Okay, so this turns into less than or equals to. So the sign here flips instead of staying the same. Okay, so this turns into minus 7 because 49 divided by minus 7 equals to minus 7. Okay, so whenever you're dividing by a negative number, the sign always flips. Okay, so that's the only difference between this and a normal equation. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So remember, we'll solve this like we'll solve any normal equation. Okay, so just pretend there's an equals to sign here instead of this greater than sign. Okay, so this is minus 4w over 9 minus 2 greater than 7w over 6 plus 1 over 9. Okay, so I don't really like working with fractions because sometimes it get confusing on sometimes most people get it confusing or like yeah, okay. And when I have fractions, I just want to remove whatever's at the bottom so it's not confusing. And one way to do that is to find the greatest common factor that can divide everything at the bottom. Okay, so what I mean by that is, what number do you think can divide everything at the bottom? Right, the smallest number that can divide everything at the bottom. Okay, and when we find that number, the purpose of finding that number is to remove anything, all the numbers that are supposed to be at the bottom. Okay, so when we find that greatest common factor, we multiply that by all, and when we multiply that, all the numbers at the bottom remove. Okay, and one way to find that is I kind of use this step. It's called this is 9, 6, and then 9. There's no need to put a 1. So what I just do now is I write down all the numbers at the bottom, at the denominator, right? But if you have a 1, there's no need for that because anything can divide with 1. So I just put this 9, 6, and 9. Or you can just remove one of the 9, doesn't matter. Yeah? Okay. So first off, I'll ask myself, what number can divide these numbers? What's the first number in your mind that will come when you want to divide these numbers? Now you want to divide 9 and 6, or 9 again. Should be 3, right? Because 3 is a factor of 9 and 6, right? So let's put that here. That's 3, right? And when we divide 9 by 3, we get a 3. Okay? And when we divide 6 by 3, we get a 2. Okay? And 9 by 3. We can remove this, it doesn't matter. Okay? So let's just work with these two. Okay, we removed 9 because there's already a 9 here, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so we divided 9 and 6 here by 3, because when we divided 9 by 3 here, it gave us a 3. 6 by 3 gave us a 2. Okay, so the next step is to ask ourselves again, what number do you think can divide 3 and can also divide 2? There's no number, right? Because 3 and 2, they're basically next to each other, and yeah, so there's no number that can divide 2 and 3, because 2 is an even number also, and 3 is an odd number. Okay, and in order to do that, okay, we have to when we're stuck in this kind of stuff, well, all that is left for us to do is to just put in these two numbers as they are. Okay, so we can multiply these two numbers together, 3 and 2. Okay, so when we multiply that, that's going to give us a 6, right? 3 times 2 is a 6. Okay, so when we do that, that means we're going to have to stop here. As soon as we realize that there is nothing common between the two numbers, just multiply them by each other. Okay, and so now we're left with these 6 and 3. So what is left to do is for us to multiply 6 times 3. Okay, so that is 6 times 3 is equals to 18. Okay, so the number that can divide everything at the bottom here without leaving a fraction is 18. Okay, so what I did was I plugged in all the numbers at the bottom. So I put in 9 and 6 only. Okay, I didn't put in 1 because anything can divide 1. Whenever I see a 1 at the bottom, there's no need to work with it. Okay, and I removed this 9 because it doesn't really matter. We already have the 9 here. And I asked myself, what number can divide 9 and 6? Okay, and that was 3, right? And then when we divided 9 by 3, which got us here, and 6 by 3, which got us is 2. And next step is we're going to ask ourselves the same thing. What number can divide 3 and 2? There's no number that can divide 3 and 2. So all you do is you multiply 3 and 2 by itself. So when you multiply 3 and 2, that gives us 6, right? And so we take the two numbers that are common, which are 3 and 6, and multiply them by each other, which gives us 18. Okay, so the next step is to multiply 18 by every part of the equation in this question. Okay, so let's do that. So this is 18 times minus 4w over 9, then minus 18 times 2 over 1 greater than 18 times 7w over 6 plus 18 times 1 over 9. Okay, so we'll multiply 18 by every part of the equation, each one of them. Okay, so when we do that, when we multiply 18, okay, so when we multiply 18 times minus 4w over 9, when we multiply 18 by minus 4w over 9, okay, we're going to ask ourselves, what is common between the top and the bottom? Okay, 9 can divide the bottom here, 9 can also divide 18. Okay, so when we divide 18 by 9, that gives us 2, right? So this is 2 times minus 4w over 1. Okay, and so we'll do the same thing in the next ones. Minus 18 times 2. Okay, that's a 36, right? So there's nothing at the bottom. The only thing at the bottom is a 1. So when we're working with anything that has a 1 at the denominator, it's really advisable not to work on anything that has a 1 at the bottom, because it's just going to give the same thing over and over again. Okay, so what we do, we just multiply the top. So this is minus 18 times 2 gives us minus 36, then greater than 6 divided by 18. Okay, that's a 3, right? So this is 3 times 7w, and then plus 9 divided by 18. That's a 2, right? So that's a 2 times 1. Okay, so we're left with 2 times minus 4w, that's minus 8w, right? Because 2 plus times a minus, okay, this 2, it has a plus in front of it, even though we don't know. Okay, so as long as you don't see any sign in front of the number, that number is automatically a plus. Okay, so a plus times a minus is equals to a minus, right? 2 times a 4 equals 8, right? and w times 1. Okay, because there's no other w here, so w times nothing basically is just w. Okay, so this is minus 8w minus 36 greater than 3 times 7w. Okay, 3 times 7, that's a 21, right? And there's no w attached to 3. Okay, so we can just leave the w here as it is, plus 2 times 1, so 2. Okay, so now we're left with minus 8w minus 36 greater than 21w plus 2. Okay, so now all we have to do is to simplify this. Okay, and remember I said treat this greater sign like it's an equals to sign. Okay, don't let it confuse you or anything. Just treat it not like you treat a normal equation. But the only thing is when you're dividing by negative numbers, this sign will flip to the other sign. So if it's greater than, it's going to be a less than. If it's less than, it's going to be a greater than. Okay, so this is minus 8w minus 36, right? So minus 8w. Okay, so we want to take the w's to one side and normal numbers to the other side. Okay, so when we take this is minus 8w. When it's 21 comes over here, because this is a positive 21w. Okay, once it's going to the other side of the equation, it turns into a negative. Okay, so minus 21w. Whenever your number flips to the other side of the equation, it always changes the sign. Okay, so if it's a positive, it changes to a negative. If it's a negative, it changes to a positive. So this is greater than this minus 36. So I have to put it in here, right? So when we put a minus 36 to the other side, it changes to positive 36. So this is 36, and then this 2 is already here, plus 2. Okay, so now we're left with minus 8w minus 21w. That's a minus 29w, right? And that is greater than 38. Okay, so now the next thing for us to do is to divide both sides by minus 29. Okay, and we're doing that because we want to simplify w. Okay, we want to solve for w. I want to simplify our answer as much as possible. Okay, and so when we are dividing by negative numbers in inequalities, remember the sign always flips. So if it's greater than, it's going to be turned to less than. Okay, so let's do this. This is divided by minus 29. Now we're dividing both sides by minus 29 and divided by minus 29. Okay, so these two cancels out. This is w less than 38 over minus 29. Okay, now you're going to ask yourself, what number is common in the top? What number basically can divide the top that can also divide the bottom? Okay, there's no number, right? 38 and 29, they don't have any common factors attached to each other. Okay, and so based on that, you can leave the equation as it is here because it's in simplified form. Okay, so let's put that down. Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's work another question. And feel free to pause the video if you like. And but if not, just feel free to continue the video. Okay, so this question is basically the same thing we just worked on, but different numbers and different fractions. Okay, so what we have to do, basically we're going to do what we did in the previous question. We're going to do that here. Okay, so the first step is well, where are their fractions? Okay, and we don't want to work with fractions, so we're going to ask ourselves what numbers can divide everything at the bottom. Okay, so the first step, let's take out 9 and 3. 9 and 3. Okay, this is a 1. This is a 1, but we don't need to put that. Okay, so next we divide 3. Okay, because 3 is 3. We're gonna ask ourselves what is common between 9 and 3. 3 is the common number between 9 and 3, right? So when we divide 9 by 3, that gives us a 3. And when we divide 3 by 3, that gives us a 1. Right? So we're left with 3 and 1. Okay, and since we're left with 1, basically what is left for us to do is to just put in this number that's not a 1, which is a 3. Okay, so this is a 3. So now we're left with 1 and 1s. Okay, So next thing for us to do is, since we're left with ones, that's basically telling us we're done. Okay, so next thing for us to do is to multiply these two numbers together. Okay, these numbers that are actually similar. Okay, so this equals 3 times 3. Okay, when we multiply that gives us 9. Okay, so that means 9 is the number that can divide everything at the bottom. Okay, so based on that, we have to multiply each one of the equations by 9. Okay, like we did in the previous example. Okay, so this is 9 times 5u over 9 minus, my handwriting is terrible, I'm sorry. Yeah, and then minus 9 times 2 less than 9 times 4u minus 9 times 7 over 3. Okay, so now we multiply 9 by each aspect of the equation. Okay, so we're going to ask ourselves, when we're doing this, we're going to ask ourselves, what is common between the bottom and the top? Okay, so in this case, 9 is common at the bottom and it's also common at the top, so they divide each other. Okay, so basically this is just 1 times 5u, and then minus 9 times 2. In this case, that's an 18, right? That's left with 18. Less than 9 times 4u. Okay, so when we multiply 9 times 4, that gives us a 36. And u is only in the 4, there's no u in the 9. Okay, so we can just leave u as it is there. Okay, and then minus, we're going to ask ourselves, what number is common at the top and can also divide the bottom? One number can divide the bottom and the top. Okay, 3 can divide the top and can also divide the bottom. Okay, so when we divide the bottom by 3, that gives us a 1, right? So this divides by 3, gives us a 1. This divides by 3. When 9 divides 3, gives us a 3, right? So this is minus 3, which is this 3 here, times 7 over 1. Okay, so basically all we have to do is simplify this. This is 5u, because 1 times 5u equals 5u, minus 18 less than 36u, minus 3 times 7 over 1. That's basically 21. Okay, so now we're left with 5u minus 18 less than 36u minus 21. Okay, so now we have to simplify this equation. Okay, and to do that, we'll take the u's to one side of the equation and the normal numbers to the other side. Okay, so let's take the u's in one side. Okay, so this is 5u. So for us to bring this 36u to this side, okay, this is a positive 36u. And a very common rule is whenever you're taking a number to the other part of an equation, the sign always changes. Okay, so if it's a positive, it changes to the latter, which is negative. And if it's a negative, it changes to its latter, which is a positive. Okay, so even though we're not shown that 36 here has a plus in front of it, whenever you see a number or a letter or whatever that doesn't have a sign in front of it, it's automatically a plus. Okay, so this is a plus 36u. So when you bring it to this side, it becomes a negative 36u. Okay, because it's switching sides of the equation. Okay, so it's less than minus 18 here, right? Let's take minus 18 to this side of the equation. So when we take minus 18 to the other side of the equation, it turns into a positive 18. Okay, because we're switching the sides. Okay, so this turns to minus 21 plus 18. Okay, and so now we're left with 5u minus 36u here and minus 21 plus 18. So what is left for us to do is to basically simplify both sides. Okay, 5u minus 36u equals minus 31u. Okay, that is less than minus 21 plus 18 equals minus 3, right? So basically this just means I owe someone $21 because there's a minus in front. I'm going to say, oh, okay, I owe someone $21 and I have $18. Okay, this plus in the front signifies me having something. Okay, so if I pay the person $18, I'm still owing $3, right? So since I'm owing, this still signifies a minus 3. Okay, so that's the same thing I did here also. Okay, so next thing is to divide both sides by minus 31. Okay, And in order for us to do that, remember we're working in inequalities in this case. And whenever we're dividing by negative numbers, the sign always flips. Okay, so let's divide a negative number. In this case, we're dividing by negative 31. Okay, so this divides by negative 31, and it's also by negative 31. Okay, so these two cancels out. So this one, so u is greater than now. Okay, now the sign flips. So greater than. There's a minus here and a minus here, so automatically it turns into a plus. Okay, because minus divided by minus equals a plus. And then we're left with 3 over 31. Okay, 3 over 31. Okay, so we know there's nothing common between 3 and 31. There's no number that can divide 3 that can also divide 31. So this is the simplified form. This is the simplest form this equation can possibly be. Okay, so let's put that down. U greater than 3 over 31. All right. So yeah, thank you very much for watching the video, and I really hope it helped you out. And have a beautiful day ahead. Bye.